Hey, what's up guys? So today I'm going to be installing the Z1 Off-Road's transmission skid plate that I got in the mail like 2 days ago. And it's going to be interesting to see how it interfaces with the factory transfer case or the front transfer case skid plate, which I believe is like 4 bolts. It's just kind of like a piece of steel sheet that's, I don't know, it's kind of skimpy, but I'm not too worried about the transfer case as much as I am the actual transmission pan, because as you guys know, we have 3rd gen Frontiers, possibly previous generations. I'm not sure if that carries over from previous ones, but with the 3rd gens, I noticed there's nothing there. It's just a big open void for shit to just fucking smash into that transmission pan, which is fully exposed, and it's not tucked up very far from the actual crossmember and frame. You probably got 1.5 to 2 inches above the frame and shit, and it's not much, because when you think about it, from the engine skid to the transfer skid, it's probably a void that large in length, and width it's probably about as wide as my arms right here. But yeah, it's just big open area. I feel like from the factory they should have put something there, because that transmission pan is plastic. I'm not sure about the previous ones, but this one's like that weird ribbed plastic. I mean, yeah, sure, it's probably pretty durable, but getting like smashed by a rock or a tree stump durable type deal, probably not. So I opted with the Z1 transmission skid plate, like I said. This video I'll just be going over the install process, and like I said, they include hardware. I'm not sure, there's like 1 long bolt and 4 other bolts that I understand will replace 4 factory bolts, but then there's still 2 factory bolts that are going to be unaccounted for. And I think, I mean, I don't want to go out on a limb and say this, unless I drill through that skid plate, there's no way to get those 2 bolts on. So I almost feel like this skid plate is supposed to be like the whole ecosystem of skid plates from Z1 to correctly work together. I mean, a lot of companies are like that. As much as I hate to say it, it's almost like they're like, hey, you're going to have to buy the rest of our supporting shit now because you have this and it might not work with XYZ. That's what it seems like from every other company I've interacted with about skid plates. None of them really work together, so you have to buy their whole set. It's not like you can buy one from one vendor, one from another vendor, another manufacturer here, and put it all together and work. You could, but it's going to take a lot of extra work. So I get where they're coming from. I mean, they're trying to lock in customer base and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's like, how hard is it to just put those extra 2 holes in there from the manufacturer so it works in conjunction with that front transfer skid plate without being super skimpy? Because once those 2 outer bolts are on, it doesn't seem like there's going to be much support if that thing gets hit, as opposed to having the 4 bolts. It gives it a little bit more rigidity, I guess, and support, so it doesn't just kind of fold up. But I guess that just means I got to get the transfer skid plate now. Transfer case skid plate, I mean. Yeah, it's cold out, as you can see. I mean, a hoodie and a beanie, it's like 30 degrees. Yeah, I mean, that's it really. I'll get into the install, and then I'll just do a overview of how the install went afterwards, I guess, and just how I feel about the product after the install. So this is the packaging that the Z1 Off-Road transmission skid plate came in. I mean, you guys already know if you own a 2022 Frontier, especially if you have the Pro 4X version that already has some skid plates from the factory, there's nothing for the transmission, and the transmission's actually like plastic basically. The finish on this looks pretty good. Seems pretty solid. I don't know if you guys will be able to see the finish on this, but it's like a nice powder coat matte black. Let's see what the underside looks like. So as you see here, they have like the little support ribbing for, I guess, rigidity. I'm not sure how much that's going to help. I mean, it obviously does something. They designed it in a way which that's going to actually help. So I'm going to assume this mounts on the vehicle facing oriented this direction. So I can put these 2 bolts in first and kind of slide it in, and then throw these 2 up after. And as for the hardware, it's included with it. Let's see. Don't know what size any of this shit is. So you got, I don't know what the hell this is for. Guess I'll find out. Yeah, there's no installation instructions, so I guess it's pretty straightforward. I just don't know what that single long bolt right there is for. I guess I'll find out. But yeah, like I said, you guys can see the finish here. In terms of tools, that's basically all you're gonna need right there. So it's gonna be a 13mm socket or a wrench or whatever. You can actually do it by hand, but it's like 30 degrees out. So I'm just gonna use this 13mm socket on my little 12-volt impact gun, which has been great so far. Alright, so in terms of the actual installation, like I said, there's no directions. So I'm just gonna assume it's just those 4 bolts going in to the frame. So first things first, like always, you want to try to chalk your wheels if you're going to be jacking anything up. Engage the emergency brake. Alright, so first things first here. I'm gonna grab this, the box came in, the hardware, and I'm gonna bring it. As you can see, there's my phone. I'm trying to film this on 2 different things. I'm doing it by myself. So I'll obviously just set the box up under there, get it all prepped and ready to go. It shouldn't really take that long, but probably just jinxed myself and it's gonna take forever now. Alright, so the front is off, and now I'm gonna have to, wow, there's so much crap that's up there. I guess it did its job though. Alright, so I got my 13s. I got 3 of them because one is somewhere over here still. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got dented pretty good right up here. Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. I gotta put that back up after. For now, I'm gonna try to get this back up here like it was. So this was the front. Try to wedge this up as far as it can go. Because when this thing got crushed, it fucked it up pretty bad. Maybe I can like bend it back. Probably not by hand, but I'll try. Yeah, that ain't happening, dude. I'll try a pair of pliers, see if I can bend it back, or I'll just drill out that hole bigger. Yeah, I'll probably just drill out this hole a little bit more. It's never anything easy. It's always something that's fucked up somewhere. So I'm just gonna take this big ass step bit, or unibit, or whatever you wanna call it. Just enlarge these holes a tiny bit. Can't really tell where the chuck is. All right, there we go. Here we go. Take 5, or whatever the fuck it is at this point. So I got that. I just gotta try to get that wedged up. I'm pretty sure I made the holes big enough to where these bolts can go through now. So if I get that up there, on top of the existing factory ones, oh yeah, the golden, just enough. All right. And I'll put this under the factory engine skid plate, obviously. I'm not gonna put it over it because it has this stupid lip. And then on the back, it's weird in the back though. You'll see when I get there, I guess. I don't wanna keep talking. All right, so now I can wedge this into there when I'm ready, and I can install the back. And yep, it should be great. Everything's fine. All right, so now I got this. So here's the thing that's weird to me is, so I don't know if this is intended to use with or in conjunction with the factory transfer case skid, because these two holes end up lining up in a way which, like, I have to mount this on top of it, but I'm gonna be 2 bolts short and there's nothing I can do there. So it's definitely interesting. Fuck it, I guess I'll just send it, man. What the fuck? Who cares, right? I'm not so worried about the transfer case, more so the transmission pan, because as you guys know who own these Nissan Frontiers, at least the 3rd gens, I don't know about the previous generations, but that transmission pan is like exposed to everything. And it's not very high up or tucked away from the frame. It's almost like flush with it. It's maybe an inch or 2 higher, which ain't much, because you got to think, you got from where that engine skid ends all the way to this cross member right here that's just open. And if you have a Pro 4X, honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about the other skid plates. They seem to do their job so far, like the engine one, as you saw. I mean, I might replace that at some point with the CA tuned one, because there's also a radiator and the engine skid plate, and it works with their bumper like as a system and goes together perfectly, because I don't really want to buy something and have to keep modifying stuff at this point like I have been doing so far. I don't know why you just see my hands and not my body. That's kind of weird, right? All right, so gotta get this thing in, I guess. Yeah, I don't really have a fucking choice. So I'm just gonna slide this up on top. And that's in. And I can kind of rest that like that, I guess, for now. And then I gotta figure out a plan of attack now to get this up. So I'll have to get these 213s. Once again. I mean, it would have helped if I had a second set of hands, honestly, doing this. So I think this is just gonna go like up in here, but I almost need washers for this. Maybe I can repurpose these factory ones. No. Go figure, right? All right, well, I gotta go grab washers for these real quick, because I don't think this is gonna, it's kind of cutting it close where these are going through. I'll be right back. Actually, I won't be right back. I'm right here. So, at the beginning of the video, I was wondering what the fuck these washers were for that came with the kit, and now it makes sense. Still don't know what that long bolt is for. I'll figure that out at some point. I don't see any other holes it can go through, but yeah, so that just goes on there, like so. And then I'm going to just fucking send it, huh? Alright. So that's gonna go under there. This isn't like too ridiculously heavy or anything,
so I don't really mind holding this here with just my index finger.
I'm just kidding, it is kind of heavy for just my index finger.
Let's see if I can get my foot under here or some shit. Alright, I got that kind of up there. Alright. And then, now that that's roughly in place, and I had to do some fucking acrobatics, I should be able to come to this side and line this one up pretty close, honestly. Alright, that's good. Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that though. This is all the way in. And then I gotta make sure this is all the way forward, which it seems to be. And I just realized I'm gonna need more washers for this front one. But other than that, at this point, it's pretty solid. Yeah, I don't think they really sent parts out that you would be using if you were just adding this into everything else. I think this was sent out with the hardware more for their whole system to work together, because in the future, maybe they didn't realize it, but they need 4 of those washers because the factory holes for the engine skid plate are too large for the heads of these bolts, because they're not flanged or anything at the end. It's just a hex bolt, so it's kind of sketchy. So I'm gonna have to grab 2 small washers for that, and the job's done. It honestly wasn't that bad. It fits good. It's better than having nothing here, for sure.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this shit though. I might have to get their transfer case. It's good. This factory one now is kind of flimsy without the 4 bolts in it. And I don't want to have to drill through this fucking skid plate just to get those 2 bolts in, you know? So I'll just bite the bullet, get the fucking transfer case one next. I should have did that to begin with. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to just get the transmission one because that's all it was really needed for the most part. Alright, so to finish this off, I just gotta put the washers onto these bolts on the sides. One thing I should get a bigger guy on my shoulders. Once you put the skid plate in, it's not much fun. I think I need thicker washers, but for now that'll do because I'm not going on any crazy trails anytime soon, so definitely need thicker washers. So these ones just fucking bent. Wet paper towel. Guess that's it. Let's go do these. Yeah, that's it. It really only took me, realistically, 15 minutes if I wasn't shooting the video and trying to get all this footage. It would have taken me about 10 minutes probably. But hey, now you guys can see what it takes. The end product though is pretty nice.
here's the good part about using this thing for a pad when you're done. All you gotta do is just pull it out, and all the shit you just use is right here, and you can just toss it in the trash. All right, guys, so the install, it's cold, is done, and it was like I thought. The front transfer case skid, it works, but like I said, yeah, I would have to drill 2 holes to accommodate for the 4 bolts that I guess support that from the factory, which I'm not about to do. I'm not about to drill through a skid plate I just bought. It's brand new, just to make the factory one work for now, and I'll be replacing it anyways later down the road. But and then I ran into a little issue with the factory engine skid plate, which it's going to be a case-by-case basis. Like if you've ever wheeled with your Frontier, I guess, and banged up the engine skid plate a little bit, the factory one, and it gets crushed up a little bit, it's going to like cantilever the mounting section. So you might have to either rebend it, which I didn't want to do, so I just drilled the holes a little bit bigger to accommodate for that extra play to get the bolts through it with a unibit on just a regular 18-volt drill. It worked. Then I also ran into the issue where they only give you 2 washers with this Z1 skid plate stuff, and you actually, if you're going to reuse all the factory hardware, or not hardware, but the factory skid plates, you're going to need 4 washers. So I'm not sure if that was like an oversight, or if they just forgot to put 2 more in there, or if they just give you that to give it to you because they assume that you're going to be using the rest of their skids together as the system, which to me is, I get it, but like 2 washers, really? It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, the finish on it was great. The fitment's fucking chef's kiss. And other than that, I mean, the install wasn't bad. If I wasn't recording all this and trying to set everything up, going back to the camera, back to the truck, back to the camera, to the garage to grab something, to the camera, to the garage, to my phone, it would have probably taken 15, 20 minutes tops at most. This ended up taking like an hour because of the fact that I'm filming this by myself. But I mean, I'm pretty sure this is going to probably be better than the last videos I did, especially because I actually have audio this time. With this little DJI mic, it's not going to be audio from my phone. And I have the little microphone fucking little crazy hair bullshit on it because it's kind of windy. And I didn't want that wind noise to be interfering with the audio that I'll be capturing throughout the video. Other than that, I'm basically at this point trying to think what other points you could really have any kind of questions about. But yeah, the fit and finish is good. The actual quality of the piece is outstanding. I'm not sure, like with the ribs you saw earlier in the video, how those work. I would assume some kind of support or something to beef it up. But I mean, how much is that really going to help? Because I'm pretty sure welds will just crack and shit once, if it got crushed that bad, then it did its job. Because it's going to be protecting the transmission. If the transmission somehow gets fucked up still with that thing on, then probably shouldn't have been there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like the video, do whatever, watch other videos. You can laugh at how shitty my other ones are, and this one, because this one's also going to be pretty shitty too. I already know that, but it is what it is. Thank you.